In this week's edition of the Central Connection, I share about attending a fallen police officer's funeral. I also share a notable event from Christian history. We take a look at some of the news headlines in the Christian world from this past week, and we highlight the work that our missionaries are doing. On Thursday, I traveled to Prestonsburg, Kentucky, with officers from the Maysville Police Department to honor fallen police officer Jacob Chafins. Chafins was one of 3 law enforcement officers killed last week while serving an emergency protection order. I had never been to a funeral like this before, and I was overwhelmed with emotions. I don't know how many law enforcement members were there, but agencies from all over the country were represented. In fact, we saw one vehicle from the Chicago Police Department. At the beginning of the service, we all marched into the event center, down the front, in between the family and the fallen hero. It was pretty moving. Then we get to our seats, standing at attention. The K-9 officers with their K-9s paraded to the front to honor Chafins as his position as a K-9 handler. Then those close to him stood up and spoke of stories of how great and brave of a person he was. For in addition to being a police officer, Chafins served as a sergeant in the Army, a firefighter, and an EMT. And then the chief of police got up to speak. But in addition to being the chief of police, Randy Woods also was the pastor of Toms Creek Free Will Baptist Church. Chief Woods was Officer Chafin's pastor. And he stands up and he gives this eulogy. Now, I've done several funerals, but I can't imagine how difficult it is to provide a funeral message for one of your officers killed in the line of duty. I prayed for Pastor Woods as he got up to speak, and his message was beautiful. What was most impactful for me was when he mentioned that Chafin's most significant experience in life was helping to baptize his wife and daughter. Well, here's what has happened in this week in church history. On July 4th, 1876, the hymn God of Our Fathers was performed in honor of America's centennial. The hymn is by Daniel Crane Roberts, a deacon who served in the Union Army during the Civil War. Here's a news story that I hope you find encouraging. According to Kentucky Today, 11 members of a Kentucky Baptist disaster relief chainsaw team were deployed to Wooster, Ohio, where a windstorm and tornado came through about 3 weeks ago. Not only did the team help people clean up their property, but one person was led to the Lord when the KYDR team assessed his property for damage. The article explains that he was the second one saved this week, and 3 others were saved the previous week. I know we have several members who work with the Kentucky Baptist Disaster Relief, and I am grateful for them meeting with people with Jesus in a time of crisis. On a related note, please pray for Tony Lees, who is in Puerto Rico right now with the Southern Baptist Convention's Send Relief, providing disaster relief training and encouragement to Puerto Rico Baptists. In this last segment, I want to highlight God's work through our Southern Baptist missionaries. Longtime medical missionaries, Doug and Cheryl Derbyshire, work at the Bangkla Baptist Clinic in Thailand, using their gifts to minister to both the body and soul. Doug has found that medical care provides an inroad to sharing the gospel. As a healthcare professional, taking care of physical needs and then moving on to address spiritual needs is almost an automatic transition. He says, medicine is a remarkable bridge for us. Throughout the year, the Derbyshires, hospital staff, and volunteers from the U.S. travel across Thailand to host medical clinics in areas where Thai church planters and International Mission Board missionaries hope to start churches. In some of these areas, there are no Christians. Other areas have few Christians, but church planters are hoping the mobile clinic will lead more people to Christ. The tithes and offerings that you give to Central Baptist Church support the cooperative program of the Southern Baptist Convention. The cooperative program, it is the financial fuel for reaching every person for Jesus Christ in every town, every city, every state, and every nation. Your support through the cooperative program provides resources that missionaries need to address both the physical and spiritual needs of people all around the world. So pray for the Derbyshires and their ministry in Thailand, as well as the mobile clinics that they lead to continue to provide inroads to the gospel. And please continue to faithfully give to the work that God is doing in our church, in our community, and around the world. You can give during our worship service, or you can give online on our website at cbcmaysville.com/give. Well, thank you for watching this week's Central Connection. I look forward to seeing you in worship on Sunday. Until then, God bless.